The new Dawn of War 4 gameplay trailer has finally given us a much closer look at the Adeptus Mechanicus in action. And while this isn't the first time that the AdMech has been revealed for Dawn of War 4, this trailer really does dive deep into how they play, how their units work together, and why they might end up being one of the most rewarding factions to master when Dawn of War 4 launches later on in 2026. We'll be talking all about that, as well as a giveaway and even a heads up of when I really think we'll get even more information about Dawn of War 4. Anyway, from the very first moments of the trailer, it's clear that King Art Games is leaning hard into the identity of the Adeptus Mechanicus. There won't be frontline berserkers charging into melee like the orcs, well, with the exception of a few units. They will be cold, calculating followers of the Omnissiah, turning the battlefield into a machine-driven equation where every moment, every volley, and every engagement has already been mathematically predicted. The entire faction revolves around speed, ranged pressure, and technological superiority. The developers describe them as masters of the calculus of war, and after seeing this gameplay trailer, that description feels completely earned. The trailer opens by showcasing the backbone of the faction, the Skitarii Rangers and the Skitarii Vanguard. The Rangers sit behind the lines, unleashing precise galvanic rifle fire, cutting enemies down before they can even close the distance. Meanwhile, the Vanguard advance aggressively, irradiating anything foolish enough to push too close. They establish the core identity of the faction immediately. The Adeptus Mechanicus don't simply overpower enemies through brute force, they dismantle them methodically through positioning, firepower, and layered synergies. And that idea of synergy seems to define almost every single unit in the roster. The trailer transitions smoothly into the Sicarian Ruststalkers, and this is where things get really interesting. Unlike the Orcs or Space Marines, the Adeptus Mechanicus don't rely on melee as their primary strategy. Instead, their melee units exist to create openings for devastating ranged attacks. King Art Games explain that Ruststalkers can lure enemies into close combat, forcing opponents to focus on an immediate threat, while your Rangers and heavier support units unleash punishment from a safer distance. It's a very tactical style of warfare, and it feels incredibly fitting for the Adeptus Mechanicus lore. The tactical depth continues with the heavier infantry options. The Cataphren Breachers appear as slow-moving armoured servitors built specifically to shatter defensive lines and fortifications. Then the trailer shifts into the Corpuscari Electro Priests, who look absolutely terrifying in combat, unleashing arcs of raw energy powered by the motive force itself. Visually, they might just be some of the most striking units shown so far in Dawn of War 4, but things escalate even further with the Castellan robots. These towering machines stomp across the battlefield, unleashing waves of phosphor fire, while datasmiths actively alter their battle protocols mid-combat. It's one of those details that really sells the fantasy of the faction. The AdMech aren't just fielding machines, they are constantly optimizing them in real time, recalculating efficiency while battle is unfolding around them. And just when you think the faction has shown everything, well, the vehicles arrive. The Iron Strider brings fast-moving mobile fire support, striding rapidly across the battlefield to reinforce weaker points. And then the Onager Dune Crawler rolls in as a heavily armed weapons platform capable of adapting to multiple battlefield roles. From there, the Scorpius Disintegrator adds long-ranged artillery support, blasting enemies apart with Belarus energy cannons from afar. Every single unit revealed seems designed to reinforce the faction's central philosophy: maintain distance, control engagements, and overwhelm opponents through superior coordination and firepower. But then really comes the centerpiece of the entire trailer, the Knight Castellan. Towering over the battlefield, this thing looks absolutely monstrous, and King Art Games confirm that the Adeptus Mechanicus work alongside the House Raven in Dawn of War 4, giving them access to Imperial Knights, and the Castellan looks every bit as devastating as fans have hoped. Massive weapons systems, overwhelming firepower, and cinematic battlefield presence all combine to make it feel like a true late-game terror. And as you've seen on the trailers, these giants literally deploy on the battlefield using drop keeps, which sounds exactly as ridiculous and spectacular as it should. But despite all of these powerful units, the real heart of the Adeptus Mechanicus faction isn't actually any individual soldier or vehicle. It's probably the Noosphere Network. This mechanic might just end up being one of the most important strategic systems in all of Dawn of War 4. The Adeptus Mechanicus can link buildings, defensive structures, static weapons, and units all together into an expanding data network. As the network grows stronger, it unlocks new upgrades, stronger units, and additional research options, while also making units inside the network stronger and cheaper to produce. In other words, the AdMech army literally becomes more efficient the more connected it is. That alone sounds pretty powerful, but then the trailer reveals another major mechanic, the Void Shield. It's meant to protect huge sections of your base and nearby forces. Enemies can physically move through the shield, but they can't shoot through it. And that means for Adeptus Mechanicus players, well, they can create brutal defensive choke points, forcing opponents into carefully prepared kill zones while ranged units fire safely from behind the barrier. And if all that wasn't enough, well, the faction also gains Auger Vision. This ability acts like a battlefield heat map beneath the fog of war, giving players hints about enemy activity even when they can't directly see what's happening. Now, King Art Games says that it's intentionally imperfect, but accurate enough to warn players before enemy threats spiral out of control. The trailer also highlights the faction's two commanders, each offering completely different playstyles. First is Potentia Delta 9, the Techno-Archaeologist. She uses the Servo Skulls to scout enemy movement and uncover ambushes, while her upgrade paths allow players to specialize her for either melee or ranged combat, depending on your strategy. And then there's the Skitarii Marshal, Sec X23, who appears to be built entirely around army-wide support and battlefield buffs. Now, the developers even confirmed that he's the only commander in Dawn of War 4 composed of multiple models, thanks to the bodyguards accompanying him into battle. He essentially becomes the center of a massive mobile gun line. And beyond gameplay, it sounds like these two commanders may also represent opposing sides of a deeper conflict within the game's story on Kronos, with one loyal to a mysterious Magus Dominus, and the other potentially uncovering secrets that were never meant to surface. Overall, the Adeptus Mechanicus are shaping up to be one of the most complex and mechanically deep factions in Dawn of War 4. They look fast, highly tactical, extremely dependent on positioning and synergy, and potentially devastating in the hands of skilled players. They may not charge headfirst into battle like the Orcs, or overpower enemies through sheer resilience like the Space Marines, but that seems to be exactly the point. The Adeptus Mechanicus seems like they will win through calculation. Every structure expands the Noosphere, every unit feeds the machine, every engagement looks to be another equation solved in the name of the Omnissiah. And if this gameplay trailer is anything to go by, well, Dawn of War 4 might finally deliver the definitive playable Adeptus Mechanicus experience that fans have been wanting for years. What I did want to read about from you guys though in the comment section below was, well, what did you guys think of the recent AdMech trailers? The CGI one got a lot of flack, to be honest. I'm not too sure why. I mean, sure, I get it, the Necron warriors clearly had a terrible aim, but overall, I really quite liked the trailer and thought it told the storyline pretty well. I thought the AdMech gameplay trailer was great and revealed a lot of information. Anyway, just let me know what your favorite bits of the AdMech trailers have been so far, but I do also want to touch upon something pretty cool. There's another surprise tied to Dawn of War 4 right now for collectors and Warhammer fans. Essentially, a new giveaway has been announced, and it's for a McFarlane Toys Captain Cyrus Elite Edition figure, with 5 winners being selected once the contest ends on the 31st of May 2026. The figure itself looks packed with detail. It's a 7-inch scale Elite Edition collectible featuring premium paint applications, soft goods, multiple alternate hands, an alternate head sculpt, 4 different weapons, an art card, and a display base. The figure is actually also available for pre-order right now, but fans can enter the giveaway for a chance to win one simply by confirming their entry through the official Dawn of War 4 promotion page. I'll leave a link to it in the video description. It's another sign that the team behind Dawn of War 4 is treating this as a major return for the franchise, not just with gameplay reveals and faction showcases, but with the collector content and community events building momentum towards launch. Before we do wrap things up though, there is one more thing that Warhammer fans should really keep an eye on this week. Games Workshop have officially confirmed that the annual Warhammer Skulls showcase returns this Thursday, the 21st of May. It celebrates 10 years of Warhammer gaming announcements, reveals, trailers and updates. And importantly for Dawn of War 4 fans, well, the game has already been confirmed as one of the games appearing during the event. So if this new Adeptus Mechanicus gameplay reveal wasn't quite enough, well, there is a very real chance we could see even more footage, faction reveals, campaign details, or entirely new announcements related to Dawn of War 4 during the showcase itself. I'd imagine maybe we'll see more of the Necrons. Either way, it's not just Dawn of War 4 showing up either. Warhammer Skulls is set to feature updates and reveals for a huge lineup of Warhammer games, including Space Marine 2, Dark Tide, Rogue Trader, Bolt Gun 2, Battle Sector, Dark Heresy, Total War Warhammer 3, and Mechanicus 2, which is actually launching during the event itself. For Warhammer fans, this is shaping up to be one of the biggest gaming showcases of the year. And with Dawn of War 4 continuing to reveal more of its factions, mechanics, and story details, this Thursday could end up being another major moment for the return of Warhammer RTS gaming. The Omnissiah demands knowledge, and this week, it looks like we're getting a lot more of it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and make sure that you give the video a thumbs up if you did. As always, take care, and see you next time.